A week ago, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said Apple was gearing up for the arrival of the M4 MacBook Air in March. February is past, and Gurman hasn't altered his projection. In fact, he's now forecasting it might come this week, with new iPads following soon after. In the newest issue of his Power On newsletter, Gurman writes that an unveiling is imminent, and that Apple is scheduled to make a Mac-related announcement as early as this coming week. Gurman has also been anticipating updates for the normal iPad and iPad Air, and his newsletter forecasts that although they are unlikely to come before or at the same time as the M4 MacBook Air, they won't be long after. Once again, most of this knowledge comes from reading the runes of remaining stock in Apple shops. That's an important signal because if Apple is allowing supply of certain things run low, it means they're being withdrawn. Gurman claims this is now occurring on the iPad Air and standard iPad. There are now signs that a launch is getting closer, he adds. The company is beginning to wind down inventory of the device at its retail stores, a trend we saw with the now discontinued iPhone SE and the existing MacBook Air. There are also some signs of stock shortages for the entry-level iPad, which I expect to get updated the same time as the iPad Air line, he says. The iPad Pro, meanwhile, won't be upgraded until the M5 chip is ready. As upgrades go, we're anticipating all of them to be refreshes, rather than full-on redesigns. For the M4 MacBook Air, anticipate a near-identical design, with the laptop available in two sizes: 13 inches for mobility or 15 inches for greater screen real estate. As the name indicates, the laptop will receive a generational upgrade to the same CPU that powers the M4 MacBook Pro. That is to say, as the name indicates, the laptop will receive a generational upgrade to the same CPU that powers the M4 MacBook Pro. The fanless design of the MacBook Air implies performance may not be entirely on pace, while leaked benchmarks imply a slight change. That implies you should anticipate a speed gain of roughly 23 to 25% as indicated in our evaluation of every M-series MacBook. The iPad improvements are anticipated to be equally incremental, but with the iPad Air, the details might make a major difference. The present version carries an M2 processor, so it's a matter of whether Apple bypasses the M3 and goes directly to M4 or not. The leaker Evan Blass expects it'll have an M3 processor, although Gurman has previously remarked that he wouldn't be terribly surprised if the 2025 models get bumped up to the M4. Either way, we're anticipating 11 and 13-inch versions once again. As for the standard iPad 11, we're anticipating a boost to the same, a 17 processor used in the iPhone 15 Pro and last year's iPad Mini 7. Crucially, this will allow the entry-level iPad access to Apple Intelligence. Gurman is especially enthusiastic about the possibilities of the iPad Air, because the prior iteration did particularly well over the holidays and bested the more advanced iPad Pro. Hopefully, we'll get to see it for ourselves this month. On March 3, 2025, Apple aroused suspicion throughout the tech world when CEO Tim Cook tweeted a cryptic statement on social media at 8:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time 3, claiming there's something in the air, followed by a wind emoji, hinting to a probable new MacBook Air sporting the powerful M4 CPU. The teaser, dropped after months of swirling speculations, sent waves across the industry, signaling an impending update to the company's top-selling laptop, which sold 6 million units in 2024 alone, taking a 25% share of the worldwide lightweight notebook market. With the M4 processor now powering the iPad Air since its January release, expectation is rising for a MacBook Air redesign that might bring a jump in speed and energy efficiency, coinciding with Apple's aim to strengthen its artificial intelligence capabilities. The move comes as the firm strives to restore its advantage in a highly competitive digital world, where it's behind competitors like Amazon and Google in AI innovation. Cook's tweet comes only days after Apple announced an 8% jump in Mac sales for the last quarter of 2024, raking in $8 billion, spurred by demand for M-series processor systems that now account for 90% of its computer portfolio. The cryptic hint, along with the company's history of unexpected launches, like the iPhone 16e in 2024, has fanned rumors of a disclosure before the end of March, perhaps skipping the regular spring extravaganza. Industry experts predict the M4-powered MacBook Air will feature up to 20 hours of battery life and a 50% performance gain over the M2 model from 2022, cementing its supremacy in the slim and light market, where it competes with 15 million devices sold yearly globally. The news also follows complaints of Apple's slow AI advancements, notably with Siri, which has dropped behind Alexa in user acceptance despite its pioneering beginnings. The teaser's worldwide effect was instantaneous, capturing fans, investors, and experts alike. Apple, controlling a 15% chunk of the international laptop market, has heightened expectations following the M4's success in the iPad Air, where it enables AI-driven features for 10 million customers. In the gallery of options, the new MacBook Air might launch via a secret online drop or a splashy event, replicating techniques that catapulted the budget-friendly iPhone 16e to $599 sales. As the tech giant navigates this important time, the M4 MacBook Air symbolizes Apple's goal to preserve hardware superiority while tackling AI weaknesses, setting the scene for a spectacular revelation. Tim Cook's social media post at 8:15 p.m. GMT3 on March 3 thrilled Apple aficionados, with the words, "There's something in the air," and a wind emoji fanning anticipation about a MacBook Air upgrade. The timing utilizes the M4 chip's release in the iPad Air earlier in 2025, which sold 2 million copies in its first quarter, suggesting a bigger deployment throughout Apple's portfolio. Analysts believe a late March debut as probable, maybe with an online announcement, given Apple's 2024 history with the iPhone 16e. The MacBook Air, with 25 million units sold since the M1 debuted in 2020, is the company's laptop flagship, constituting 60% of Mac sales, making it a great contender for the M4 update. The M4 chip continues on Apple's transition from Intel CPUs, begun with the M1 in 2020. Introduced in the iPad Air in January 2025, it boasts 40% higher performance and 30% lower power utilization than the M3, enabling devices for up to 18 hours on a single charge. This jump lifted iPad sales by 15% last quarter, earning $7 billion in revenue. The expected MacBook Air with M4 might contain a CPU 50% faster than the M2's, with 12 cores, and a GPU enabling ray tracing, a feature in 20% of recent games. Battery life may approach 20 hours, up from 18 in the M2 model, rivaling the $1,599 MacBook Pro M3, while keeping priced between $999 and $1,199. Rumors also claim a 13.6-inch mini-LED display with 1,600 nits brightness, stolen from the iPad Pro. Upgrades may see Siri processing 10 times more instructions per second, answering complaints that Apple's Assistant, used by 500 million, falls behind Alexa's 70% smart home penetration. These updates seek to keep the MacBook Air competitive in a market where lightweight notebooks surpassed 60 million yearly sales worldwide. The teaser arrives amid a hot market, with Amazon revealing its Quantum Ocelot processor in February 2025, tripling server performance and attracting 30% more business customers. Google's Chromebook Pixel, with Tensor G3, sold 4 million copies in 2024, threatening Apple's 25% lightweight laptop share versus Google's 15%. In AI, Alexa handles 1 billion monthly instructions of Siri's 500 million, which lost 20% of active users since 2020. The M4 MacBook Air hopes to recoup ground, targeting 50 million business customers prioritizing speed and battery life. Post-teaser, Apple's stock surged 2% on March 4, reaching $180 per share and bringing its market valuation to $2.8 trillion. Investors expect a 10% Mac sales gain in 2025, adding $9 billion quarterly, with the MacBook Air driving 60% of that growth. Retail anticipates 1 million sign-ups for launch notifications, exceeding the iPhone 16e by 20%. Suppliers like TSMC, making the 3-nanometer M4, sped up with 10,000 workers to satisfy Apple's demand, which contributes for 25% of its $80 billion 2024 sales, signifying a supply chain poised for a huge deployment. Cook's suggestion reverberated overseas, with Tokyo and London analysts projecting a $10 billion Mac sales jump in 2025. In Asia, where Apple owns 10% of the laptop market vis Lenovo's 30%, the M4 might pull 2 million new customers, particularly in China, where 50% value battery life. In Europe, AI improvements match 40% of professionals' need for enhanced assistance, a 20 million-strong market. Apple confronts Microsoft's Copilot, processing 800 million actions monthly, 60% more than Siri, making the M4's AI push a vital counter. The MacBook Air might leverage 100 million worldwide Mac users to cement Apple's ecosystem dominance. Apple may announce the M4 MacBook Air via an online event by late March or a stealthy drop, with pre-orders in 10 days, echoing the iPhone 16e's 2024 debut. TSMC's manufacturing hints at 3 million units ready by April, aiming for 7 million sales in 2025, 15% over the M2. A Siri upgrade in June, boosting 80% of devices with generative AI, might confirm the MacBook Air as the best lightweight laptop, merging power, efficiency, and innovation. So, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates on the latest technology. Thanks for watching.